I'm Austin, and today's story is Tales from Retail about an epic Karen and some people getting caught stealing in a really weird way. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notifications on so you don't miss the daily uploads of sweet stories. Let's dive right on in. Crazy customer gets a pants full of Jack Daniels and acts shocked when he's caught. Posted by Winter Star Gamer. At the beginning of May, I had gotten promoted to a service manager at a pretty popular Midwestern grocery store. I've been working for this store for about 3 years now, and I'm pretty excited to be finally working my way up the chain. With my new responsibilities as a service manager, I now have many new, interesting stories to share with others. One of my many duties as a service manager is to either open the front end, which is 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., or to close the front end, 3 p.m. to 11 p.m., and help watch over the cashiers, customer service, self-checkouts, do overrides, and of course, either open or close the store. It is also important to note that many of the departments in the store have their own hours. For example, the hot food stations tend to close around 9 p.m., and our alcohol department closes at 10. The alcohol department has a gate that keeps customers locked out of the department until the store is fully closed. This story takes place on one of the nights I closed the store. It was about 10 minutes before closing time, and I am chatting with my closing cashier. Let's call her Stella. I tell Stella that I'm going to close one of the two main entrances and that I will be right back to help her with the last two customers that are still in the store. Around this time at night, there are only about a handful of employees in the store. This includes myself, Stella, the other service manager who is running the back room named David, the night stock manager, Caleb, and about 5 stalkers. As I am locking up one of the main entrances, in walks an older guy who is wearing a construction shirt and is looking as if he's in a rush. Before he gets too far into the store, I stop him for a moment. Sir, just so you know, we're closing in about 8 minutes. The guy nods his head and responds with, of course, I just need one thing and I'll be quick. Now, this normally happens, and 90% of the time, they are correct, and they are out of the store pretty quickly. I nod, and the man walks into the store as I go lock the first main entrance. I come back to the registers to help Stella bag the last few orders that are going through her line. I then see Caleb coming up to me about a minute later. Hey OP, do you have the wine and spirits key? I left my keys in my car on accident, and a customer wants to grab something from over there. I say yes, and hand him over my keys that are on my belt. Caleb says thanks, walks away, and I proceed to help one customer load her bags into her electric cart and offer to help her outside. I helped the customer out to her car with her groceries and made my way back into the store with her electric cart to plug it back in. The electric carts are kept in the second main entrance, which is the one I hadn't locked up yet. At this point, it was like 10:59 p.m. I was plugging in the electric cart when I see the man who came in just minutes ago walking out with a weird limp, along with Caleb, David, and 2 other stalkers following him. Caleb isn't yelling, but is obviously very annoyed. Hey, come on, just give us the bottle. We know it's in your pants. We won't call the police. Just hand it over and you won't get in trouble. The guy just responds with mumbling about how he put it back on the shelf. He wasn't stealing crap, and that we were accusing him of stealing. The guy proceeds to walk out of the store to his car and then drives off in a hurry. At this point, I am looking at Caleb in utter confusion. We get the doors locked and then he explains the story. After Caleb had gotten my keys, he went to go let the guy into wine and spirits so he could grab a bottle of alcohol. This is normally no problem as we let people do this all the time. Caleb had unlocked the gate and let the guy walk inside to grab what he needed. He watched as the guy grabbed a bottle of Jack Daniels off of the shelf and then walk out of the department. The guy says thanks and starts to walk away when Caleb is locking the gate. The guy darts into one of the nearby aisles, and once Caleb was done locking the gate, he noticed the guy come back out from the aisle, this time walking weirdly and without the bottle. Obviously, Caleb isn't stupid and immediately runs after the guy, telling him to stop. This catches the attention of David and 2 other stalkers who happen to be near the front end, and they soon appear, following Caleb, who is trailing behind the guy who very obviously just shoved a bottle of whiskey down his pants. The whole parade of people walks halfway across the store just following this man, telling him to stop before getting to the main entrance. What I still don't understand is that out of all the bottles of whiskey he could have grabbed, we carry some pretty high-end whiskeys, he just grabbed a bottle of crappy $20 whiskey. And before anyone asked, yes, we did check cameras. Yes, he did shove the bottle down his pants while he darted into an aisle. As much as I want there to be a more exciting ending, all we ended up doing was alerting our store director, got his photo from the cameras, and sent the tape to the police. Nothing has really come out of it since, sadly. So here's the thing about that. Stores have a loss prevention department to deal with this directly, and they'll often tell employees not to go chase after theft. Because, here's why. They don't want to have the employee that may be untrained risk getting hurt and then that falling back on the store and then having to deal with the whole mess all over a $20 bottle of whiskey. Oh man, what a story. Listening to failed robberies unravel over a radio, posted by Maya the Strange One. So I started a retail job at a store that had just opened up in my city a couple months ago, and I have been waiting for the day to finally tell a fun tale. I have had a couple of run-ins with lowly Karens. For instance, on the store's opening day, I had a Karen ask me where the business shirts are. I showed her, and she said that she wanted a 3-pack of business shirts. I apologized and said that we didn't have 3 packs of business shirts, and she huffed and said, "You work here and don't know where anything is?" before walking off. Yeah, it's everyone's first day. Of course we're not going to know everything. But I digress. The story that this post is referring to just happened on my shift that I just got off of a couple hours before writing this post. For this story to make sense, our store has these push-to-talk devices. I'm unsure how many other retail stores do this, but I'm guessing it's commonplace. Basically, walkie-talkies that are fed through an earpiece. The first encounter of the day happened about 45 minutes into my shift. I hear over the radio from a coworker, "Hi, a customer just came up to me saying that they saw someone shoplifting and that they're still in the store." This obviously got my attention. Since working the checkouts, there isn't a lot of insane action that goes on other than the odd peak time here and there. I then hear the manager ask for a description of the culprits and what they were stealing. A bald man with a hat and a green jacket with a partner was stealing kitchen knives by replacing the new ones in the boxes on the shelves with crap ones. My interest is piqued even more when they said that they had spotted the culprits, and then I hear over the radio, "Okay, I'll call security. Make sure you check their bags before they leave." While this is happening, I'm fixing up a click and collect order for another customer, and when I come back out the registers and hand the customer their items, there's 2 security guards and all the managers double checking everything that they were buying. They ended up being let go, so my guess is that they realized that they were caught trying to steal and decided to bail on that idea and just buy the items instead. I thought that was the end of the excitement for the night. But then, it happened again. Not even an hour after the first event, I'm back at the registers and I hear the manager come on the radio and say, "Hi everyone on level 1, I would like you to keep an eye on the young blonde woman. She's wearing a gray jumper and acting really dodgy, just a heads up." Me and my coworkers at the checkouts all give each other a look, wondering what's going on. Then about 5 minutes later, we hear, "Definitely keep an eye out for her, she's definitely stealing stuff." At this point, I'm kind of chuckling because, again, this is quite a lot of excitement for someone who stands behind a register for a good majority of the shift. We then hear, "She's heading up to the elevators. Can someone on the ground floor by the back exit just stand by the elevator near men's? We just want to have a good idea of where she is." And as this is being said, I see a manager running towards the set of escalators in the store. And the radio chatter continues. "She's heading towards the beauty section. Can we get someone over there? Can someone call security? Security went home because they were sick." Of course they did. "Make sure she doesn't get near the exits. She just got on the elevator." I'm keeping watch by the elevator, kind of looking around, not really sure what to do at this point, just kind of thinking, what the heck is going on? Only to then hear over the radio, "She's gone into the basement," which made me chuckle again because the basement level hasn't been finished in our store yet and is obviously a dead end. The rest of what happened was told to me by the manager who caught her. He chased her into the basement and into a corner where he started taking pictures of her, I'm guessing for the police so they could know her appearance, and she immediately started freaking out and crying. After this, she yelled, "I've got nothing left to lose," and then charged at the manager, which obviously got him to back off real fast, and then she managed to get out of the store empty-handed. We scanned all of the goods that she had picked up and determined that she nearly stole $250 worth of goods, including a small TV monitor, Lego sets, clothes, and so on. In the end, we kind of all came to the conclusion that it was likely a junkie trying to steal stuff from our store so she could sell it on Facebook Marketplace or eBay to make a quick buck. The next half hour over the radio was them just describing the security camera footage, like the moment she realized she was caught, how desperately she was trying to get away, how funny it was seeing the managers chasing her around, and so on. Part of me wants to feel bad for the thief because it definitely sounded like she was in a really rough place, what with how the manager described her reaction to getting caught stealing so much. But at the same time, I can't help but feel like she was likely going to sell that stuff to get another hit of ice or something. But I guess the thing I got out of this is that there's quite a lot of eyes on you in retail stores, even if it may not seem like it. Anyway, just thought I'd share that experience with you guys. It was quite an exciting night for me. Hey, no, this is no joke. Like, you look up in stores at the ceiling, all those little lipstick cameras they call them in those black domes, you are being watched in stores pretty much everywhere except for the bathroom and the fitting rooms. But watch your step, because they are like Santa Claus. They are watching you today. I can't believe you need me to bring you the merchandise I'm returning. Posted by Danzyman. Background. I was working at the customer service desk at a department store. A few things that Austin Mart is known for, this is all relevant context for the tale, are whole transaction discounts. A lot of comparable stores issue % off coupons that only apply to one item in the transaction, or % off transaction coupons that exclude numerous categories of items, typically those with slimmer margins like electronics, more heavily regulated categories like alcohol, or items that are already on sale and clearance. Austin Mart doesn't carry much in the way of the first two exclusions, and their coupons don't exclude sell or clearance prices. Discount stacking. Austin Mart's coupons don't include the may not be combined with other offers language that many others do, so based on when each offer is valid, somewhere around 3/5 of the days in the year are days in which there are 2, or even occasionally 3, discounts that can be applied together. Austin Mart Cash. Roughly once a month, there's a period from 8 to 14 days long during which every purchase earns Austin Mart Cash, a $10 coupon for every $50 spent, which will be redeemable usually starting the next day after the end of the earning period and expire around 1 week later. This one can get tricky when returns are involved. When a return is done against a transaction that earned Austin Mart Cash, such that the remaining total from the original purchase falls below the same multiple of $50, there are different options depending on where in the cycle you are. Deactivate some of the earned Austin Mart Cash. If we're still in the earning period, this is the only option. Reduce the amount of your refund by the amount of Austin Mart Cash that you unearned, leaving the value of your Austin Mart Cash unchanged. During the spending period, if you haven't spent the Austin Mart Cash yet, you can choose either option. If you have already spent it, then this is the only option. The Yes We Can policy. Austin Mart's entry-level employees are more empowered to say yes to what customers want without getting management involved than in any other retail company that I've worked. If it's reasonable, the employee can say yes. They don't have to, and there are limits, but generally the default behavior is to give a yes as much as possible. Another aspect, especially relevant at the service desk, is that when the customer wants something we actually can't do, we're trained to not present this in the terms of, no, I can't do that, but rather in terms of, here's what I can do. At the service desk, we paid extra attention to the discounts that had been used on the customer's original purchase, and we would do our best to preserve these discounts when possible. If someone wanted to return something that they had bought at a better discount than they'd be able to get today, we might direct them to do an even exchange in order to preserve the price they had paid. Sometimes we'd manually reapply some coupon and/or sell price on a replacement purchase made following a return to give them the same deal that they'd have gotten if they'd bought the new item back on the date of their original purchase. We could look up past sell prices on any item by date for a few weeks after each sale ended. The story. On this particular day, there's continually a short line at the service desk, so any interaction that involves a customer leaving the counter and coming back means they will probably have to stand in line again for a few more minutes when they return. A lady brings up a bedding set that she had purchased, but which she now wants to exchange for a different one. I say, no problem, I could definitely help you with that. Do you have your receipt? Lady says, yes, I have it right here. Okay, so you have two options. You can do an even exchange at any register, but only if both items are exactly the same price. This is the simplest transaction, and it will preserve all of the discounts you got on your original purchase, as well as the Austin Mart cash you earned that day. But I know that in the betting department, there aren't typically very many things with the exact same price point, so more than likely you'll need to come back here to do it as a refund or purchase. I'm happy to take care of both parts of that transaction here if you don't find an item that qualifies for an even exchange. In order to leave both options available to you, I won't do anything with your return item just yet. Go ahead and find the new item that you want to get, and then, if you do find the same price item, you can go to any checkout. Otherwise, you can come back here and I'll take care of you. Lady heads out to the betting department with her original set. A while later, she comes back up with a different betting set, hands me the receipt for the original purchase, but she doesn't have that first set with her anymore. Okay, and the item you're returning? It's on the receipt, right there, as she points. Ma'am, I still need the original item in order to process this as an exchange. You mean I have to go back out there and haul that thing back up here again? But it's so heavy. Have one of your associates bring it up. Well, you would still have to go back there too, since you know where you actually put it. I put it on the shelf, where it goes, but the numbers are right there on the receipt. Yes, but I would still have to actually take the item that you're returning from you in order to apply its refund value towards the other items that you've selected. The woman, no longer acting like a lady, so I have to change her name at this point, but I already put it back. Why can't you just use the numbers off of the receipts? I'm breaking it down for her. Because if I did that without actually taking the item back, what's to stop someone from just saying that they put an item back in order to get a refund for something they didn't actually return? This is ridiculous. I didn't come here to be accused of stealing. There was probably more she said here, but I can't remember any of the rest of it. Insert the typical ranting of your choice. She then proceeds to throw the betting set across the counter at me and storms off. I go ahead and let our AP officer know about the situation. I never did find out whether she was trying to pull a fast one on us, or if she genuinely did think that just putting her return item directly back on the shelf was actually the way it was supposed to be done. Holy Karen, man, that's a rough one. Entitled Karen Everything all in one. Way to go, OP, for standing your ground. Be sure to comment the secret phrase below, Jane's addiction, because they've been caught stealing. Tell me if you get that reference too, by the way. I'm Austin, thanks for watching. Check out another video here, and I'll see you there.